Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I have a lot to talk about. I have 7,290 YouTube views, and big shout out to my beloved YouTube channel members, and my approved subscribers. Yeah, guys, we have a lot to talk about. A lot. Basically, I want to talk about, Trump is he just campaigned and did a rally not too long ago. Not too long ago. He did a rally. Somebody's texting. I don't know who it is. Who keeps texting my on Facebook. Somebody says soap. Oh, look at this. I go text them back. Right. It's okay. Oh, I want to make sure y'all can see the TV up and close.
And this morning, the United Kingdom has a king for the first time in 70 years. And its people are mourning for the only monarch most of them have ever known. Queen Elizabeth II was 96 years old when she died yesterday at Balmoral Castle. That's her son home in Scotland. Buckingham Palace announced the news at 6:30 p.m. local time. The statement said she died peacefully but gave no further details. Here's a look at the gates outside Balmoral where mourners are reading flowers and notes in honor of the Queen. As you would expect, this is front page news all over the world. Newspapers are remembering the Queen and her record-long reign as Britain begins an official period of mourning that will last through her funeral. Hard to believe that the last time we saw the Queen was in these photos taken just on Tuesday as she appointed another bit of ceremony. Liz Truss to become Britain's new Prime Minister, the 15th Prime Minister the Queen met in this way after she died. Truss spoke to reporters outside 10 Downing Street. Queen Elizabeth II was the rock on which modern Britain was built. Today, the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty, King Charles III. And the new king is expected to meet with the prime minister later today, one of the first official acts he will take as Britain's monarch. Charles is also expected to make a speech on national television, 6 p.m. local time this afternoon here in the U.S. And we have a team of correspondents who've been following this news since yesterday. They're in London and elsewhere. We're going to have full coverage of this truly era-defining story over the next 2 hours. But we're going to go first to Holly Williams, back outside Buckingham Palace, where thousands of people gathered yesterday to mourn the nation's loss, gathered in the hours after the news broke, and gathered still this morning in the light rain. Holly, good morning.
Good morning. Well, this moment was, of course, inevitable. But there's still a sense of shock here because it's so hard to imagine this country without her. And for many British people, the Queen embodied what they believe is best about themselves. Yes, she was reserved, a woman of few words, but she was also reliable, steadfast, and had a religious commitment to her nation. Our last images of the Queen, still with a mischievous smile, still doing her duty, meeting Britain's new Prime Minister just 2 days before her passing.
This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Elizabeth II.
That was how her people heard they'd lost a much-loved monarch. Palace's Golden Gates, her death was announced in traditional style. But even before that, with the worrying news of her poor health, crowds were gathering up as a double rainbow appeared overhead. God save the Queen, the sounds of this country's nation anthem. Except now it will become God save the King. Truly, the end of an age, spelled out by the British Prime Minister.
We usher in a new era in the magnificent history of our great country, exactly as Her Majesty would have wished, by saying the words, God save the King.
The first news that she was seriously ill came at around noon yesterday. The palace saying her doctors were concerned for Her Majesty's health. In the reserved language of the royal family, that was enough. The country held its breath. Close family members, including Charles, Princess William, and Harry, raced to the Queen's summer home, Balmoral Castle in Scotland. By the early evening, we were told she was gone. The Queen has looked frail for months, often using a walking stick, and there was a wave of public sympathy as she buried her husband in Spilett last July. But when she celebrated her Platinum Jubilee this past June, marking 70 years on the throne, she didn't just greet her people from the company of Buckingham Palace, she stole the show. She? Oh, yes, please. Appearing in this witty sketch, into the where did you believe it? Thank you.
everything. It's very kind.
She is an impossible act to follow. A woman, a queen, and the iconic face of control. She ascended the throne of fresh-faced 25-year-old mother. She left it a great-grandmother, and she leaves behind a grateful nation. And that's the word here this morning. Gratitude. Sharika.
What a legacy, what a piece. Howard Williams scores that Buckingham Palace. Thank you.
Let's take a wrap this morning. Not police break the law. We should have convicted the police violence through my hand. The ACLU is the chief defender for the right to constitutional liberty as well. We want something better for children. The entertainment world was rocked when recording artist Leah Dana Houghton was lost after her plane crashed shortly after takeoff in the Bahamas on August 25, 2001. 6 people, including the rock boat singer, perished instantly, while 2 others later succumbed to their injuries in the hospital. In the years since the tragedy, surprising new details about the 22-year-old have gradually emerged. Here's what we didn't learn about Leah until after her fateful final voyage. Suspicious skies. As fans mourned, U.S. and Bahamian authorities began investigating what could have caused the twin-engine Cessna to crash on a Saturday night in seemingly perfect weather. Aaliyah and her crew were originally supposed to leave the following day, but they were reportedly in a hurry to get back to Miami, so they hastily chartered the doomed flight after shooting a music video for Rock the Boat. Before piling into the small plane, an argument reportedly broke out between her entourage and the pilot, Luis Morales. Morales supposedly thought the plane was overloaded with 9 people, their luggage and camera and sound equipment, and shortly after takeoff, the plane crashed, taking the lives of everyone on board. But a heavy load only just one of the ratings the plane went down. Following the incident, more details about Morales emerged.
Turns out the pilot of that plane, Luis Morales III, was recently charged for cocaine possession and may not have been authorized to fly that plane.
As a result of the revelations, Leah's parents, Diane and Michael Houghton, sued the plane's operator, owners, and the flight broker. In 2003, the suit was settled for an undisclosed amount. Afraid to fly. As if her fate wasn't heartbreaking enough, it was later revealed that Aaliyah was terrified of small planes, and she was even said to be hesitant to board the tiny plane from the Bahamas to Miami. According to Newsweek, the flight who accompanied the singer to the airport said Aaliyah was expecting a larger aircraft for the flight, and she was uneasy when she noticed the small plane. The company producing her music video reportedly offered to charter a larger private jet for Aaliyah and her entourage, but the declined because she was, quote, anxious to get home to her boyfriend and enjoy her last free weekend before beginning her rigorous schedule. Secret projects. During the height of Aaliyah's career, social media wasn't a
I
force
just had
it
to
is today.
change.
This made it a bit harder to learn about a select's personal life, and Aaliyah was exceedingly reserved. In fact, because the songstress was rarely seen without a dark pair of sunglasses covering her eyes, rumors emerged that she had a lazy eye or a glass eye. When she dips the shades, she frequently covered one eye with a perfectly coiffed hang. Of course, those stories weren't true, but her secret nature meant that most fans did know she had a funny bone until after she was gone. Aaliyah's friend Donna Jones, the daughter of music mogul Quincy Jones, had a Tommy Hilfiger fashion show in 1983. The pals reportedly loved to act silly when they were together. In a 2011 interview with The Fader, Jones said Aaliyah once called her father and pretended to be pop star Christina Aguilera, explaining, she was asking my dad to do something on her record, and she was just singing, and he totally believed it was Aguilera. But Jones and Aaliyah were more than just best friends. They were becoming business partners too. Aaliyah was known for her impeccable sense of style. She could effortlessly wear a pair of baggy jeans and a pop top one day, and a Roberto Cavalli dress the next. Jones told Fader that she and Aaliyah had been developing a girls' clothing line called Dolly Pop. Right when she passed, we were getting ready to sign our contracts with it. We were making plans for this brand, but it was going to be girly and cute and have Japanese inspiration. Considering Aaliyah's ability to make the best dressed list at any occasion, there's no telling how successful that line would have been. Love life. Aaliyah worked hard to keep her love life under wraps, but that didn't stop her romances from making big headlines. Vibe magazine blew the lid off her secret marriage in 1994 to her then mentor, R. Kelly. Aaliyah was just 15 years old when they wed, and Kelly was 27. She reportedly lied about her age on the marriage lessons, claiming she was 18, so their union was eventually annulled. Towards the end of her life, Aaliyah had sparked a relationship with Dame Dash, the co-founder of Rockefeller Records. Supposedly, both he and his former business partner, Jay-Z, had their eyes on Aaliyah. Dash said,
So I was going to, but Jay was going to.
but the reason it didn't cost them in their partnership is that Aaliyah was able to keep a cordial relationship with Carter, even putting him in the friend zone.
But Leah was the type of girl that was usually shot. You know what I mean? Like she didn't kill people, do like whatever. So she'll date you, but it can be your friend.
Clearly, there were no hard feelings because Jason led a touching tribute to the singer at a concert in Detroit 1 year after her crash. Meanwhile, 10 years after her passing, Dash was still coping with his loss and told Billboard magazine, my heart was broken. Nothing prepares you for that. So Dash and Louise spent a lot of time apart working on individual projects. They were apparently planning the future together. He told MTV News, as soon as she had time, we were getting married. She was the one. She was definitely the one coming. On top of all of these bits of posthumous news, perhaps the most surprising thing we've learned about Aaliyah after her departure is just how poetic her words about her work really were. And it's awful. We know that really makes me happy. And I will try in the next video. Okay, I also want something over her head.
Here's how to legally steal gasoline with gas stations. This ex-programmer got fired with his job, man. But it's almost amazing to me that I'm the guy that worked for me. Do you think you would have fired him or not? Yeah. If you hear all this other stuff that it needs, all it's out there, how do you hear it? Because you're shit. You talk to Barbara else in the front door, her? And she said, I'm not talking. First of all, this has to be a hard time, this anniversary. Years past. With those kids. Well, it's amazing that it's been so long, but it still feels like yesterday. Like literally, reflecting today, there have been what day since she's passed, not one. In 20 years that I have either heard her name, heard a record, or seen a picture of her every single day she's present in my life, and I feel lucky for that. Would it be good? 5 years ago. Where would she be today? It's where the world would be today, right?
It says David Dash and possibly is fear of flying are reflects on their relationship exclusive. Aaliyah 20 years after her death on August 25th, 2001. She was only 22. So think about it. She lived till now, 22 years later. She would have been 42, still young, 1979, 2001. So yeah.
The trajectory of it would have been a lot different.
Same age. Her and my mama would have been the exact same age. She and my mama worked. My mom was born in 1980. She was born in 1979. They're close. I think she'll be almost 43, but she's 42. I'm not. I think her birthday is in January. Is that her funeral? I was in a casket.
Well, it needs all drug coverage. Few persons tonight found the tragic yet the diva. Everyone I get is evident in movies pictures. Tonight the story about his real lives. Fatal plane crash and an experiment event for the jury over needs all drug coverage.
It's scary. Really, really, really scary. And I want to be scared tonight.
That was Aaliyah earlier this month, placing her peers at the New York premiere of The Others. She was there supported by Dana Dash, a hip hop music producer, even sending her heartfelt support to Mariah Carey.
I know this is gonna be just all the conditions. Supposed to and much love to Ryan. Hopefully she's better stuff.
And imagine, just weeks later, this young, talented, and beautiful singer actress would lose her life in a horrific plane crash. Each videos are documenting times of shows. We see the videos and movies of a young government.
Right.
I quite promise. Then the children footage of the crash site in the Bahamas. Aaliyah and 8 others on board the plane in Cessna. They had just finished shooting another video. But lots are wondering whether the plane had been weighed down by Mr. Gupta, simply causing one of the engines to fail. For those who knew Aaliyah, no explanation will ever ease the pain of their loss. I prefer to tear up myself, so it's very close to this stage. Ed McMahon has known Aaliyah since she was 11 years old when she appeared on Star Search. He got up with McMahon on this upcoming talent show called The Next Big Star. And since he was born, when he heard the news from his talent booker, who was good friends with Aaliyah. What earlier this she was just ready to really get but she and wanted the truth that we all talked about those dreams. Everything was going great for her, and that's what makes it so doubly tragic or something like that. And we thought she's not whatever it's Aaliyah was as bold as she was beautiful. She fooled in this video company in 1980. And these stars of lottery bankers here to make up for these often work.
Something new for this is the better, can't take risks. And Leah has some amazing things. Even for Texas, John Kelly now on the future plans for let's take care of R&B citizenship to face the next.
Her new music video, Leave the Revolution, has been on the Billboard chart for 16 weeks. Aaliyah essentially even covered in snakes.
That's what's sexy, dangerous.
Back in May, I talked with the rising superstar about her upcoming podcast. Talked about blockbusters.
One just finished being the women's fastest singer.
Aaliyah snagged the phone role of lead vampire Queen Natasha in a movie based on the Anne Rice book due out next April. It's the follow-up to Interview with a Vampire. Aaliyah also won a coveted role in the top secret sequel to The Matrix.
On my campus in the zoo. She's a good girl. I'm on the good side.
Aaliyah was set to start shooting the sequel in Australia. I asked why she wanted that part so badly.
That is one of my favorite movies to this. This was a time. It's exactly what it is. And if ask after we properly.
And what Aaliyah wanted, she got.
Aaliyah managed to set herself apart from the fans.
Jeremy Hellinger is senior entertainment editor for Teen People. In his video shot in June, Aaliyah posed with Sugar Ray's Mark McGrath for the magazine's October issues. Hellinger says she was sexy and sweet, and he remembered the time one fan was too shy to get her autograph.
Aaliyah noticed her, and she actually went after her. She saw there was a picture with her, so she was very gracious.
And her music was nominated for the upcoming Soul Train latest Soul Award. Producer Don Cornelius told me he expects an outpouring of emotion during the show. We're going to figure out if she is. And fans will always remember Aaliyah as an artist who packed a lot to do a short life and made it all look easy.
I don't really think about it, I just kind of let him. And it's more what I said, we should have this first dedicated tribute to Aaliyah. It's the latest was tomorrow on that side. The Teen People magazine featuring Aaliyah goes on sit-ups or Aaliyah was lost a rising star for the weekend of the death 22-year-old R&B star Aaliyah. We have the new details on the plane crash that took her life. The hard work, the times we get tired, the times we get a bit sad. In the end, it's all worth it because it really makes me happy. And I wouldn't trade for anything else in life. I don't know if the plane may have caused the accident that ended Aaliyah's life Saturday night. Just before takeoff, the pilot reportedly argued with the passengers, saying that 9 people plus all of the camera and sound equipment was too much weight to make a safe flight. His warnings went ignored. The small twin-engine Cessna erupted into a fiery nosedive just minutes after leaving the Bahamas, where Aaliyah was shooting an upcoming music video. The reaction to the death of the two-time Grammy nominee is one of shock and disbelief. Record producer Quincy Jones said, quote, "She was like one of my daughters. I am absolutely devastated." Aaliyah's husband, singer R. Kelly, said in a statement to Easy, quote, "I am deeply saddened by this tragic loss. My thoughts and prayers are with her family during this time of grief."
I was very fond of her work. I really thought she was adorable when she first appeared on the scene, and I was just ashamed to see her go. The strangest things that happens to people very early in their careers, until very young ages, which makes it more tragic.
Even my favorite, and not only that, not even as an entertainer, she was a great, very down to earth, humble individual.
Aaliyah made her first TV appearance in 1990 on Star Search. Later, she worked with her aunt Gladys Knight in Las Vegas. The singer who appeared alongside Jet Li in Romeo in the Sky was on the verge of worldwide status with the successful release of her third album last month and a role in both upcoming sequels to The Matrix. The main character named Sweet, and then of course the actually came out and speaking about the plot and real stuff.
I have a new movie coming out as well. It's called The Fight for Justice for Whitney Houston, if I've seen it. And I also have another movie coming out called AJ Jones 17 or the AJ Jones movie 17. Or it'll be AJ Jones 17 because I have a new channel name that will be AJ just AJ Jones. You know, it's like recent how old I I'll be 18 in like April 25th and 2024.
Right, Larry. It's a pretty much tough statement, but it will be so much fun. So, are you ready to be frightened tonight? Yes, I'm to be scared. Earlier this month, I spoke with the rising star of New York American Youngers. PR's Fair was slated to appear on numerous upcoming magazine covers, and did this photo shoot for October's Teen People on newsstands next Friday, shortly before the tragic accident. I was trying to say what I want my lips to be, what I want him to say when I'm long gone. Young people don't look at me as a full-on educator and a good nurse. She will surely be best. Cable's BET will profile Elliot tonight. Well, MTV will air a special tomorrow after TRL. So look at the news this morning. Campers Prime.
Actually, thank you. Some American aviation experts have gone to the Bahamas to help investigate the crash that killed the singer and actress Leolah and 8 other people over the weekend. The tour agents tested down on Saturday shortly after takeoff. Harold Thurston was one of the first rescuers on the scene. He's in Miami. Mr. Thurston, good morning. Oh, yeah. I'm fine, thank you. Where were you and how far away when the plane went down? I was about 2 miles away when I got the call. And how soon after that were you able to get to the crash site? Within 2 or 3 minutes. Give me an idea, if you could, of what you saw when you got to the wreck. Just twisted metal and smoke. But most of the fire was already extinguished. Most of the fire had already been extinguished. How? Yeah. Other rescuers that work at the airport, they were able to get fire extinguishers, extinguish the fire. Now, as I understand it, 3 people originally survived the impact. Were any of them conscious when you arrived on scene? Yes, sir. Mr. Scott Gallup, he was still conscious on the time. That's Elias bodyguard, right? Yes, that's a bodyguard. And what kind of condition was he in? He had a lot of cuts and bruises and breaking down the body. He was unable to walk, and I think he said he couldn't down to the throat, so he was pretty strong. Was he able to speak with you at all? What did he say? Yes, sir. He was able to speak. Sorry, guys. I knew it was like we were just more concerned about the other passengers. When I asked him if he had one more against the other passengers, that was his big concern. Did you see Leah on the plane or recognize her at all? No, sir, I did not. And how long did you care for the survivors before firefighters arrived at the scene? Firefighters, basically right on the button, right out there, the firefighters, 1 or 2 of them were ready to go. But I didn't care for Mr. Scott for about, I'd say, hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And then he passed away from hospital. He was actually on point to a local golf mechanic on now. He died on street announcing the national in the paper. Harold Thurston, I thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, Kevin Taylor, producer for the BET Network, was in the Bahamas with me, shooting a behind the scenes look at her music videos. Taylor, you're supposed to be on this play, aren't you? Yeah. Was it the Gina Smith who also perished in the flight that comes from when we were still in Miami the night before? They made some pretty quick travel reassignments, and they had asked that my crew and I, who was supposed to be on the charter, take a commercial flight. And since, the video had nothing to do with the transport, I said, okay. And of course, going, that wasn't an issue. And even coming back wasn't an issue. It was just a matter of, schedule changes. So long before the plane took off, and she was spoken with a leader, dealt with her. We got up really early that morning, as we had been doing the whole time, and somewhere about 9 o'clock, 9:30, Maria and Scott and three other people in Paris. They went onto a catamaran so that I could take them into the middle of the sea. Well, yeah, I said the video that you were shooting with her was this kind of a collaborative process, or were you just kind of like fly on the wall? Well, that's the wonderful thing about getting somebody who is just really sweet supportive. Oftentimes you put a secondary camera in on his face and they're very okay, you're welcome to get out my way. And Leah, every time the camera went off, would make her presence. No, come here, come here. Yeah, I was listening to this. She keeps in there. I'll talk for a second. We'll listen. It's true, supposedly the catalog playbook, you ever heard why they switched? No, I've heard that they had the large playbook for Sunday and that understandably Leah and her family, that's what I will always wanted to get back sooner. I could understand as much as people, more harm with the weather, it's very tiring. They wanted out of her before, but she was up as early as 4:30 or leaving at 3. And so by the time they arrived, she was exhausted. Are you aware of any argument that may have happened supposedly between a number of her entourage and the pilot? The speculation of that is still it's unsettling and makes no sense to me because the pilot would instantly put it on like the Jeopardy is rather than a secondary pilot suggested that the plane go up. Why? I mean, they should not aware of any problems or anything else. I can't imagine that. I know they were traveling heavy because that's the reason we were on the chart, but too heavy for the flight. The speculation that I would dare. Yeah, you pretty well identify how close you came. I right even there, I could see you and that line right there, and that's it. I'd make it try to shut off my brain. I never even see the footage that doesn't even see it yet. So I know I'm gonna have a moment with it, but right now I just know it's God's release. Kevin Taylor, thank you. And we'll do more of this, I guess, or the same tonight on episode. But I could sit here, believe me. Can't believe that. 7:10.
Here's an extra update on the internet today. Tributes continue to pour in for the R&B singer who was killed Saturday in a plane crash. Singer Mary J. Blige says Aaliyah was a woman who went for her dreams. She was, a good example for children like to follow their destiny. And new fans are finding Aaliyah music. Sales for the latest album are up 41%.
Thing about Leah is she passed away a few days before my grandpa with her. She passed away September 7th, 2001. She passed away in August 5th. They died like after 3 days of birth person.
So this is almost too long. She's almost too long. And that's an extra update. He has learned that the private vehicle services for Aaliyah will be held tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm curious what she was about to turn 23.
Yeah. At the Church of St. Ignatius,
She will live to be one.
Virginia next funeral was held. And last night, the premiere of the romantic comedy Two Can Play That Game. The movie star Vivica A. Fox said the press should stop trying to blame someone for the tragic crash. We need to let the families grieve, let them grieve in private, and be supportive.
Right.
This is my comeback. Franklin is coming to light at the top with cheese and other things exclusively for Friday.
These are touching. That's a good.
Here's from London.
Aaliyah will forever be remembered as the princess of R&B. She was poised for a long and bright career, but then in 2001, she tragically died in a plane crash at the age of 22. Here's what the last 12 months of her life were like. Aaliyah's popularity was growing at the turn of the 20th century as she translated the momentum of her music career onto the silver screen. In 2000, she made her acting debut alongside Jet Li in the action film Romeo Must Die. She was praised for her performance, while her song from the movie Try Again earned her a Grammy nomination, won her 2 MTV Video Music Awards, and reached the top of the Billboard Hot 100. Transitioning into acting is something that Aaliyah had wanted for a very long time. As she revealed in an interview with CBS, Since I was little, I started with singing, I did acting, I danced, I did plays. In high school, I took a bit of drama, but music was first. Aaliyah was clearly excited about what her career had in store for her, but alas, her untimely passing prematurely ended what could have otherwise been an incredibly fruitful on-screen career. One thing that made Aaliyah stand out was her unique sense of style. To this day, her fashion prowess is an inspiration for anyone looking to channel effortless 90s style swagger. One brand that will forever be associated with her is none other than Tommy Hilfiger, which she modeled for on multiple occasions. In fact, it was during one photo shoot that she met her best friend, Kidada Jones. The two of them even had plans to embark on their own fashion label. Kidada
Guess
reports
who I'm
in
wearing?
2001. It was called
Tommy
Leolah.
Hilfiger.
Right when she passed, we were getting ready to sign out contracts for that. We were making plans for this brand that was going to be girly and cute, have Japanese inspiration. Right before Leah's passing, her stylist Derek Lee was drawing influence from her Jamaican heritage and finding ways to incorporate it into her music, which they did so while filming the music video for Rock the Boat. In 2016, Lee reminisced about it. She was down for whatever, and plus being on an island, you had lots of opportunities to go in with this Jamaican stuff. After getting a taste of this,
The crazy thing about me is I have 75% Native American, 25% white. That quarter of white is from my mama's side because my grandma Jean is white, but it's a bit. The rest is Indian.
silver screen with Romeo Must Die, Aaliyah didn't wait very long for her next big screen project. She snagged the title role of Queen Akasha in the vampire flick Queen of the Day, which she began filming in late 2000 and spent 5 months in Australia for the shoot. So you were down in Australia for some time.
Yeah.
Not doing good.
I love them. It was
It's amazing.
beautiful. The people were beautiful.
While talking about the movie with MTV, Aaliyah shared, it's a really cool film. It's fun, it's scary. I'm the queen mother of all the vampires, the original bad girl. It was a fun part to play. When Aaliyah passed away in August 2001, Warner Brothers, the studio behind the film, found itself in care of the doc. The release date was delayed multiple times. As producer Jorge Sarah Leahy noted at the time, what could we do with the marketing campaign? Nothing but the children. Let's take it back. Because it's just routine. It still keeps that weird or upsetting to some people. The main thing was that her family was comfortable with it. Ultimately, the team behind Queen of the Dam pushed home that the film had finally released its business February 22nd, 2002. Queen of the Dam didn't exactly like a box office on fire, but Aaliyah was nevertheless on the path to becoming an even bigger movie star as she had landed the part of Z in the sequels to The Matrix. Filming began in March 2001, and she managed to shoot some of her scenes in May of that year. She was slated to return to Australia as production continued into 2002. The character of Z was supposed to be featured prominently in The Matrix Revolutions, the third installment in the series. But this never came to pass for a week before she passed away. The role was ultimately filled by Leolah. A tribute video was produced in honor of the singer, in which some of the cast and crew remembered their friend. Producer Grant Hill noted, "It's just a very strong, very deep loss to everybody involved." You know, it's not something that you sort of switch gears so quickly. Hill also noted that he believed it took a long time for the Wachowskis, who directed the films, to absorb what had happened. If Aaliyah had been able to complete her work
I
on the
got some
Matrix sequels,
Cheetos.
her next step as a pop culture icon would surely have been very interesting. In 2016, Derek Lee speculated to buy. She was probably going towards film and TV really hard. It was her next revolutionary step. In July 2001, Aaliyah released her third and final album, which was preceded by the release of the single We Need a Resolution in April of that year. One of the creative forces behind that track was Timbaland, who co-wrote and produced it in addition to being featured in the song and music video. By this point, Timbaland and Aaliyah went back years with each other. Back in 1996, he co-wrote and produced If Your Girl Only Knew, which appeared on Aaliyah's sophomore album, One in a Million. Missy Elliott, who wrote the song with Timbaland, performed for Vader in 2011. Aaliyah was my little sister, and Tim was my brother, and we became the super friends. We felt like we was going to save the world. We was going to change music every chance that we got. We felt like we was going to always be family, forever. In 2015, Timbaland spoke about the depression he fell into after Aaliyah's death when he appeared on the Meredith Vieira show in 2015. This is not it. That's just the loss of the physical. or just to feel it. And she was music, and that's a part of me. Timberland also revealed that for a while after his friend's passing, he lost the motivation to create any type of art. He was ultimately able to pull himself out through the power of prayer. But nowadays, he can feel a presence in his music. Weeks before her death, Aaliyah was spending time with her boyfriend, David Dash, the co-founder of Rockefeller Records. This meant that she was also hanging out with Jay-Z, one of the other founders of that
And
label. The three of
Beyonce,
them spent the warm summer months at the East Hampton, New York house where Jay-Z shared his dad.
I'm telling you, there is a bunch of videos out of Beyonce and Aaliyah met. They knew each other because they hung out county county. They all knew each other.
It was actually Jay-Z who brought Aaliyah and Dash together, although it's possible that the rapper also had feelings for the singer. In 2015, Dash told Hip Hop Motivation, I was going at it, but Jay was going at it. Aaliyah was the type of girl that would give you a shot. She didn't care what people thought. She'll date you, but you might end up in friends with her. Dash also covered this subject when he talked with Page Six in 2019. That's noted. Jay-Z tried very hard. I did not mean to fall in love with Aaliyah. She was just that cool. But we were both going hard. Everybody was trying to get to Aaliyah. It was not just Jay.
Weekends taste better with Jimmy Dean sausage.
Although Aaliyah reached the heights of fame, she knew how to keep her personal life separate from her professional endeavors. Nevertheless, a few weeks before her untimely death, she filmed Diary of Aaliyah, a half-hour documentary for MTV that gave her fans an inside look into her life behind the scenes. The special featured footage of her shopping, traveling to Paris, and conducting business such as walking the red carpet at award shows. As the singer explained, this business is really 24/7. It's a lot of glamour. It's a lot of work. You can get lost. Near the end of the documentary, Aaliyah mused, I can definitely say that I'm a truly happy young person. There's so much more that I want to do in my career, and I'm going to work hard to do and to achieve. She added, everything was worth it. The hard work, the times when you're tired, the times when you're a bit sad. In the end, it's all worth it. Aaliyah's self-titled third album was released in July 2001, a month before the plane crash that took her life. It became her first top 10 album when it landed in the Billboard 200 at number 2, and by September, after her passing, it had shot to the very top of the charts. The album received significant praise, and perhaps that has something to do with the fact that Aaliyah herself served as an executive producer. She brought in elements of R&B styles, and also made sure to showcase how much her voice had matured. In her MTV documentary, she noted, I really just feel this album is a reflection of me. I feel it's the best work that I've done to date. So I'm hoping that people really feel me on this one. While Aaliyah never got the opportunity to see just how many people her music touched, her legacy still lives on to this day. Journalists have noted that her influence can be seen in various artists who have followed in her steps, such as The Weeknd, Tinashe, and Rihanna. One of the album's producers, Rapture Stewart, summarized Aaliyah's impact by noting, say how Beyonce is very innovative in her thinking. Now, to me, that was Aaliyah, but her lane opened up so wide because there was a void left from Aaliyah. In August 2001 in the Bahamas, Aaliyah began shooting a video for Rock the Boat. It would be her final music video. Filming at the tropical destination began on the 24th, with Aaliyah and her crew arriving a day prior. Her stylist Eric Lee noted on an episode of Behind the Music, everything fell into place perfectly. It was almost a dream. The crew woke up fresh on the morning of the 25th, with production ahead of schedule by 4 p.m. They decided to wrap everything up a day early, with Aaliyah wanting to head back to reunite with her family in Bozeman. The finished video would ultimately end up being a beautiful send-off for the Princess of R&B. Rock the Boat producer Kevin Taylor described the video to NME as, quote, very ethereal and heavenly. He also noted there are lots of shots of water and clouds, and the video ends with Aaliyah swimming up in the bottom of a pool, almost looking like she's going into the clouds. It's really beautiful. As old as she may have seemed, Aaliyah did have one fear, flying. In fact, she reportedly wasn't comfortable boarding the small plane that took her to the Rock the Boat shoot in the Bahamas. Damon Dash recalled the incident in 2016 during an appearance on the rail. And she was like, I don't like that plane. I was like, don't get on it. And she was like, I got to, it was a complicated situation, but she had to go do that video. Despite the singer's misgivings, the trip to the dream destination went flawlessly. On the afternoon of August 25th, Leah and her crew had hoped to take the same 15-seat plane back to Florida, but the charter company, Sky Limo, wasn't planning to pick them up until the next day. They ended up hiring Blackhawk International Airways instead. As John Frank, executive director of the Cessna Association for PNN, claimed the airplane was above its certified gross weight when it took off, by several hundred pounds at least. The aircraft barely made it off of the runway, and then it crashed into a marsh shortly after takeoff. 6 people, including Aaliyah, died instantly, while 3 others died later from the injuries they sustained. Rock the Boat director Hype Williams told NTV, "Those 4 days were very beautiful for everyone. We all worked together as a family. I know there's a lot of pain involved, but that's all the more reason people would appreciate what we've done as a group."
Yeah, they're all down now. Chime in. You're very welcome to select. Look at some yeah, quickly. And I just must say that you studied in the video. Also, may not as well, but it is a fantastic video. It's a video.
Those are the last guys I've seen ever on the road. You want it any lower.
No, they can. They go right at the limit.
Romeo's I haven't seen the film, but it's not out yet. But we got a bit late. So I'm just possible to watch. But I've seen the trailer. It looks amazing.
It looks really
Jet Li.
Wow.
That's the about the film.
Yeah. Running on the Sky is a bit of a romantic story in a way. It's about two crime families, an Asian people, and their war over territory, and those power and control. And my character is Trisha Day, daughter of that black family, and Jet is son of the Asian family.
So you're done with Julia.
So Juliet, he's the Romeo in a way, and we don't approve of the whole lifestyle just of ourselves, but we still get caught up in it. And it's just an amazing action film, with love, drama, comedy. It's
Yeah.
fun ride.
And it's, I mean, Joe Silver, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, and it's your first
Sorry.
feature debut, and Mr. felt pretty lucky to get all that
Oh,
package.
very blessed. I mean, he's the king of action,
Yeah.
but very comfortable in his hands. Had a jet, a window, amazing cast around me.
Did you have to learn the loose shoe style?
I had to train for 1 month. Oh no, I wasn't looking to get fluent and all that hot stuff, but I had one scene where Jet used me as a weapon too.
Uses you as a one.
Used me as a weapon to hit a girl because he can't hit the women. So and I didn't want to stunt up. It's all on me, looking around and everything. So I had to train for that.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
For that. But you haven't seen any of the clips. Here it is. It's amazing. Look at this. I didn't think you'd make it. I know you would. It's just a matter of time. Trisha can't play anything. What she was doing. What the hell are you doing in there? We're in the middle of a damn new one.
Let me tell you something, okay? And Max are into have nothing to do with me.
Sorry, Leo. Jiggles. Valued asset. That was a mistake. Of course, after a line like that, gently will open up a kung fu can of worms. So everybody that guy is. So that was fun to make.
That was a lot of fun.
So what is harder, walking into a studio and singing a song, or walking on a film set?
Well, there are two different things. They both are a lot of work and a lot of discipline. But it's different, of course, being with another person. I had to be Trisha Day. I had to get into her and bring her to life. So it's totally different than going to the studio and just doing plays and lights. So it's different. Kind of hard.
We'll be talking to more, but
Yes, the studio. That's what we're gonna go to. Number 3 was just Andres Johnson. It's good play. That was our number 3, the gorgeous Andres Johnson with the games you played.
We have very lucky it's in studio with us. Now we're gonna go back.
Sure, but yeah, back in time. Because you're an actress now, as well as a singer, all around entertainer. But of course, a lot of people remember you from back in 1994. With this song, Back and Forth, which I love.
Oh no. Yeah. I haven't seen the video in ages. It's just like
See, but this is the thing that I want to talk about, because that was in 1994, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're 14 when you put that out.
15.
14, 15. So, because these days you got Britney Spears and Manny Moore, and they're all 15, 16. It's no big deal. But back then, 6 years ago, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah, that's why you tell the obligation to let remember because you know people really concentrate on age and not look at me as a bubblegum type of artist and take me seriously. So it was
It was-
different back in the
Okay.
day.
All right, we're gonna have a break. We'll come back with more. So I can leave.
Hello there and very welcome back from the break. We're still have Amelia in the studio. Now we have some questions from all our in Europe. So we're going to start by going to France. Okay, so here's the question. Which three things would you take to a lonely island? So which three things would you take to a lonely I would take.
Back and forth. Good enough.
I think that would be well. No, I take Stephen Rich City.
Okay.
Then I would take they see the one thing. So that's
That was not it. I got a little bit. I get video. You get a power source.
Take stickers. I take them to keep babies. So
Who's gonna see you?
it's just me. It's just a see. That's a girl thing. I was like, we just want to go there. So I take little cute because she babies. And I
I'm
would
running
take
butt naked up there. That's really good. See me now.
and the third thing I would take I'm gonna show what the that's just for me. Oh look girl.
What is it? It's
You
a
understand.
lonely.
It's not
The special 8 hour thing. I got that too.
this is who was the last person we kissed?
Doesn't matter.
Wow. Okay. The last person I kissed. Well, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I kissed my mom goodbye before I came from the street.
Liar.
She didn't see that the last person I kissed. It's the truth. Yeah, without me to
That's sweet.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So we can see the bigger space now. She's like mom too. She's
Which I didn't do.
okay.
Again.
Yes, Hamza. This time around.
Okay, Romeo Must Die. You also did 4 tracks on the soundtrack, which is amazing. Got Genuine, Joe. We hope the DMX and was the band.
Yeah, that was great. We've done examples since the first album, so it's time to get that done. So it's amazing.
So is that the way you want to do it? You want to do like acting with them as well as do the soundtrack?
I want to do films in the future. I don't do this. I'd like to do it again.
As long as you don't move into the Whitney Houston like soul food kind of Whitney next tail things. Is that you don't get interested in?
I'm interested in everything. Yeah, how many another acting passion films and romance, whatever. Is there anyone who would like to start against like this dreams and hopes? Sabrina. And the all kids after this on this. Fantastic.
Is it that? Yeah.
I love Selena, but Mark
That's
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.
Are you gonna come by next time when you're out?
Definitely. I don't know.
Definitely happy. That's it. Romeo Must Die is out all over Europe starting in June. To watch it's gonna be great. Tell you rocks.
And
So
so
it's Trisha O'Day.
we come over here with the last song top 10.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
You lost Vegas.
Next, here is slides. This is noise and a banging hip hop soundtrack. It's the brand new feature film on the little too far up in called Romeo West Side. Stick around for a little rapping rumble. What's up, people? It's Alana here, and for the next half hour, you and I are going to be getting down and dirty with Romeo Must Die. We are going to talk to the stars, Jeffrey Ali, as well as the rest of the cast. We're going to go behind the scenes, show you some of the explosive stunts, high wire action that happens in this film. Not only that, I'm going to give you a little taste of the film's banging soundtrack. And like there's a few next on there, we want to together for the first time on extra three things. Romeo Must Die is a perfect mirror of hip hop and voice of art. The music is very strong. Totally of the cheerleaders. No, it is the perfect pair of two young stars, Jeffrey and Ali. American audiences burst out gently, kicking butt and lethal weapons first. The Romeo Must Die is the actor's first lead in the in the state. For hip hop star Aaliyah, this is the stop. That's what's my princess. Hey, you don't need to do that. Eat that. No, yeah. Serious, beautiful, talented, young, and your career is going to get bigger, bigger, bigger. How old are you? 21. Just turned 21. Say your name, Aaliyah? 18. So I've been saying it wrong for a week because they told me.
It's AJ, but everybody calls me AJ. It stands for AJ Jones. So that's why everybody calls me AJ.
That's in Arabic, you're right, that's what it means, sure, I researched it though, I don't know, not said that you researched it. And you know what Frank means? The second highest was it's all about. Saw your movie, Romeo died. Yeah, I see a lot of movies, but my friend said, let's go, you didn't become two, and Jet Taylor did this.
Yes.
And how did you get part?
I met with the Windsor Diamond Chart, that's the Windsor. And I told him I shared how with the boys to the movie I wanted for my first movie. And introduced me to Joel. Top
Silver.
Silver, you know, people.
Right.
It was fantastic.
There is a scene in there that I cannot believe. You know, the guy Jet Li is doing with his thing, is doing full stuff, hitting people. And someone takes off a helmet, it's a whoop.
Yes.
And he said, I cannot get to one, which is, I think, a very popular message. That's what he does. He takes you and your hand and he hits the woman with her hand. He's still almost. He uses you for quite a work. Yeah, he's something. I mean, it's yeah, exactly. Watching the movie, and there's something between you that in a movie there's a love story, so it's. But you guys know what's out in the movie.
Now there's no story for it.
And that's true. But he does sort of that's more nice to
We did a takeaway trip, but then we decided
check that out. I don't want to see that.
to
I want to see that. He's too short for you.
well, that you
You need someone who says, yeah, the second most exalted. Why? I don't know about Star Search because I didn't know this. I'm always shocked in that you have to pull people like yourself And then you were a Star Search person.
Special.
And I know was Leanne Rhymes and Lauren Hill, so many people.
Many people. I was on Dartmouth when I was a kid. Dressed in my funny mountains.
I love, you guys remember, like, you know that song I heard Valentine's? I heard it was- it's- So that Chet Baker's. Yeah. That's the, what did it sound? You know what? You little. The other guys who did it were not catching it. Yeah. And anything about it. I think they're supposed to do pot. Are you? Well, look at it. You're a sex symbol, I guess, look at it telling me. I, would you like me to sex symbol?
That's great.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, like I said, I'll tell it.
Right.
Right.
If you worried your mom needs to go,
It's fun. I'm going up there. Just getting ready to, come on, I'm busy as hell looking for Amy. So she was taking pictures of me. And she said, oh, she's got this kind of six appeal working. It comes through on her little picture.
Yeah. So mom was taking pictures of your mom. Because my mom, I can make her stop taking pictures of me. Because I want to be so pictures all the time. Really. Look at this. This is yeah. Oh, no, how about you? This is not you. You're in here. 21. So the 21 hottest stars under 21. So you're telling me you're 21, so you shouldn't be in here. This is last year. Okay. And here you are. This is your age prime. Just gorgeous with two little pretty guys. Yeah, so is the cameraman. What is going on? Just for face for crying out loud. I can't believe it. Oh yeah, well, you aren't showing up for very rigorous. Why is that? Do you have the diet and all that stuff?
Yeah, I have to watch what I eat because I don't worse.
I heard you like waffles.
I love waffles. I like syrup. I like anything sweet. You gotta watch it. It'll start showing up left around
Do
here.
you like waffle with syrup together or just like it syrup? You like syrup and the
Yes, I had it.
they have them.
Um,
So that's some clear thing for your acting, okay? Try to tell the young people out there that have acting, just change the toolkit, change the toolkit. You will you stick box when he says yes. Will you stick around and talk? Young man. Something in America, we're just gonna live the enthusiasm. This game, I mean, we're now ready to play. Let us play. Yeah. It's not. Checkbox will be going down where they saw against each other and against the board. We fix them. Each player 3 seconds to break scores. You have 3 new rules. We got a new rule. Are you ready, players? Let's do this. Yeah, ball.
I look at Fox working.
Oh. For the all-time home run champion in baseball. Thank you. That's correct. Thanks to us and adult was free. No, that's correct. What did you guys the model missing? That's correct. That's correct. Who was the second US president?
Thompson said,
It's coming.
Oh. I forgot what he said. The surprise death tonight of Anna Nicole Smith, just 39 years old. What happened? This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. Good evening. We have a lot of news to tell you about here tonight, including the sudden death of a well-known media celebrity, Anna Nicole Smith, who died in Florida late today at the age of 39. This may say a lot about our current culture of celebrity and media these days when all the major cable news networks switched over to nonstop live coverage this afternoon when word arrived that Anna Nicole Smith had died. She was 39 years old. She was a lot of things: a former Playboy bunny, a former Supreme Court litigant, and a bona fide celebrity of this media age. And you see Mark Potter in Hollywood, Florida tonight outside the hospital where she was rushed earlier today, I believe. Good evening, Brian. Anna Nicole Smith was found unconscious in her hotel room early this afternoon, but efforts to revive her there failed. The first distress call came from room 128, the Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, Florida, where Anna Nicole Smith checked in with her husband on Monday. She was a frequent guest at the hotel and was here now to buy a boat. Her personal nurse alerted the hotel operator that there was a problem and they needed help. And then a 911 call was made.
for sure an IV, we pushed all medication. So we, control the EKG, we attempted taking her, which would be an additional pacemaker for the heart. And, she has electrical cancer, but not mechanical cancer, but we regular heartbeat.
With paramedics on the way, people in her room desperately tried to help.
At 1:45, all I know is that bodyguard said it was CPR for her.
But the bodyguard and paramedics were unable to get her to respond, and they rushed Smith to the trauma center at Memorial Regional Hospital.
You know, covered up. You couldn't feed her, but she was covered up. They're good. They will there.
But in the emergency room, doctors there were also unsuccessful.
At 2:49 this afternoon, we were advised by hospital personnel that Anna Nicole Smith had died.
Anna Nicole Smith was a flamboyant model and former Playmate of the Year. Her life was chronicled in real time on a cable reality show. In 1994, she married oil tycoon Howard Marshall, who died at the age of 90, and she claims he planned to leave her his multi-billion-dollar fortune. The fight over his estate ended up in court. The battle went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where she won that argument, but the case itself remains unresolved. Meanwhile, Smith suffered a devastating personal tragedy in the Bahamas last year when, shortly after giving birth, her 20-year-old son Daniel died of apparent drug complications. Even after that, her soap opera life continued when her lawyer, Howard K. Stern, announced he was the father of her newborn child.
So you have a problem.
Yes, sir.
But now Smith's ex-boyfriend says he is the father and demanded a paternity test. Her life is now ended, but the media spotlight is even brighter. An autopsy begins tomorrow to try to determine the cause of death. Mark Potter reporting for us tonight from Hollywood, Florida. Mark, thank you. What killed Anna Nicole Smith? The medical examiner's first revelations and the legal fights yet to come. And my nightly news continues in just a moment. What we learned today about the mysterious death that is the source of so much fascination. The media circus surrounding the death of Anna Nicole Smith today included details of her autopsy. The troubled former Playboy centerfold leaves a wake with speculation, litigation, and fascination, all evident today in equal.
And I just realized this, guys. They said Anna Nicole Smith, it was only worked $1 million.
The surprise death tonight of Anna Nicole Smith. The surprise death tonight of Anna Nicole Smith, just 39 years old. What happened? This is Amazon no equal measure. A report here tonight from NBC's Mark Fowler at Florida.
Did they
Well,
actually?
officials say they still don't know why Anna Nicole Smith died. They have eliminated several possibilities.
No evidence has been revealed to suggest that a crime occurred. We found no illegal drugs, only prescription medicines.
The medical examiner says he found no evidence of physical trauma or disease and no readily apparent signs of chronic drug abuse.
You didn't find in the stomach any kind of tablets or pills?
The final answers will likely come from toxicology tests, which could take weeks. The medical examiner says there are three probable scenarios: that Smith died from natural causes, that her death was due to medication or chemicals, or it was a combination of those factors. Meanwhile, on national television this morning, Smith's mother suggested her daughter's death was similar to that of her 20-year-old son Daniel, who died last fall.
I think she had too many drugs. Just like Daddy.
Now legal questions are raised about what happens to Smith's 5-month-old daughter, Daniel Lynn, and who gets Smith's money, which could eventually amount to $500 million.
In many ways, her estate problems are simply a reflection of the instability she had during her lifetime.
Attorney Howard K. Stern says he's the father and the husband. Ex-boyfriend Larry Burkhead says the child is his. And in the zaniest moment of the day, Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband, Prince Frederick von Anhalt, didn't even he to be involved. Mark Potter, NBC News, Miami. In light of the nonstop coverage of Anna Nicole Smith, several websites today began publicizing the death of another young woman. One writer said she truly made an impact on all of us. Her name was Jennifer Parcell. She was from Bel Air, Maryland, enjoying scuba diving, yoga, and music. She was a Marine, killed in action in Al Anbar province in Iraq. Jennifer Parcell was 20 years old. We'll take a break. We're back with our Making a Difference report in a moment.
The state would be worth as much as $472 million. One report that she left his call for his son Daniel, but he's dead. To get the tax. So, which the fund for the law insurance. This was a happy year. But I guess the assumption is she left the girl, she did it before, like the birth of the little girl, but the little girl automatically stands to get whatever kind of the whole just tax.
That's the reason. A real question here is that she did wrap the world, which is what you mentioned, trying to have third with the before after her son died. A lot of drugs are really spent with the after.
That's right, it's the one that grabbed the widow. That's that, right? I mean, we've got put up in the front of the he's the one who drafted it, and he's potentially the one who's coming in his mental.
The first one there, it's all that word the child that was living in that family film because she's the one who's first turns role with to be actor drafted. It's a investment with things to go through it. They're sharing the role and with the director all. It's kind of question I do what they would say. We heard the medical that she had some problems with that thing. But using that to be a little bit started within the element buying the aspect. And why does that really good start?
But it's only to be that they use or under the sport.
That all depends on the resident. Probably a red is the action compared to the told the England first, but she was a resident of home. And because the home that is speaking of mansion on water. So that document will go through what survey bodies is putting these guys on it. It was the whole. But the last thing child is just put very issues to the therapy.
The baby who's being cared for not by any of the clinicians. There's now or in a drug level, just they're going to involve. So we're talking this now. Certainly, obviously, there are poor hospitals, gas here who've been talking about this over the last few days, maybe Howard, she's heard maybe, maybe, husband, maybe even Jay Howard Marshall. So how
Question can that be resolved and how? I mean, specifically, I mean, it's DNA test is always doing high species and behavior claim. What was the most efficient and best way to establish the terms? But if there's one more, there's a good the shop or that thing that may have already been done. Unfortunately, because the manager of the ship bottle or other country, so after a lot did not on and reverse the show help and so it's my goodness is that how one graduate back on did the good job is that well look at that all the that so the information might be out there, we just don't know what it is. Exactly, and what I'm supposed to really is, don't just think about how much work they're considered, or they going to, very, that's when they can become the problem. And those bridges in the north that because terms of on that twisted, it's not cheap, it's all made a little bit of renovation that not the actual comfort and then I'll spit it. Right, and yet, even if he wanted to establish as the father, a lot of questions about him and whether he played any role in perhaps in kind of the culture of the infant or son, the growth that they respect to have been taking came back, maybe a full unfit parent or guardian that indicated that you live for the father. Like that, so there's suggested that you're for them to what they were no real second on it, that's just what the experience is. You would think it's the help handle the power church. But only the thing to do with power and gas and the faith is not even the ritual. Yes,
Even on a meeting.
5 years ago, at the eve of the Grammys, came the shocking news that music superstar Whitney Houston was found dead in her hotel suite at the Beverly Hilton.
This season's body was pulled from the bathtub.
She was found face down in a water-filled bathtub with drugs nearby. So what happened to that now infamous hotel room here at the Beverly Hilton? Whitney Houston was an icon with such a huge following. You'd think that room might become a magnet for tourists. But the hotel made sure that didn't happen.
This one is where she actually died. Notice I took the number off the door.
In this YouTube video, a fan searches for Houston's room weeks after her death. He discovered the number 434 had been removed. The $500 a night suite that looked much like this one was reportedly taken out of rotation after the hotel was overwhelmed by requests from guests to stay there. But look what our producer found this week. The number 434 is that. The Beverly Hilton told us, out of respect to the family and fans of Whitney, all original contents and furnishings of the guest room where she stayed were removed. Space has been thoroughly refreshed.
Look at Mama.
When Anna Nicole Smith died from a prescription drug overdose 10 years ago at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, Florida, that hotel had a similar dilemma: how to keep curious fans away. A so-called ghost hunter posted this video. hallway looking for Anne Spirit. The room isn't so easy to find. The hotel has erased her room number. It was 607. Now it's 609. They even completely remodeled the room. Two hotel rooms forever haunted by the scar that spent their final moments there.
Model turned actress Anna Nicole Smith was an iconic head turner from the moment she catapulted to stardom in the 1990s, having appeared in a number of popular ads for the Guess fashion writer. She was also 1993's Playmate of the Year, and her rise to fame was followed by acting movies, as well as a stint in a reality TV series. The star from a small town in Texas was born Vicky Lynn Hogan in 1967, and she grew up poor. When she was just 17 years old, she married her first husband, Billy Smith, who was a cook at the fried chicken restaurant where she worked. They had a son named Daniel in 1986, but the marriage ended in divorce. Smith's big break in show business came after she sent photos of herself to Hugh Hefner, a move that led to her appearance in Playboy magazine. Next, she transitioned into the film world, nabbing a few roles in movies such as Naked Gun 33 and a Third, The Final Insult, and The Hudsucker Proxy. As her star rose, Smith was compared to the likes of classic beauties such as Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield. She also made headlines when she married 89-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall II in 1994. Marshall died soon after the wedding, and Smith spent years waging court battles for a share in his estate. In the early 2000s, Smith's career moved toward reality television and product endorsements. She remained a tabloid fixture, something she actually enjoyed, even once telling the Washington Post, "I love the paparazzi. They take pictures and I just smile away. I always liked attention. I didn't get very much growing up, and I always wanted to be noticed." Her fondness for becoming tabloid fodder continued in 2006, when she gave birth to a daughter named Danny Lynn. This was followed by widespread media speculation over Danny Lynn's parentage, as a number of men claimed to be the father. A paternity test would eventually confirm Larry Burkhead, Smith's ex-boyfriend, as the father. Smith seemed unstoppable at the height of her stardom, and for more than a decade, that held true until the tragedies. In September of 2006, her 20-year-old son Daniel died of an accidental drug overdose. The following February, in 2007, the 39-year-old star was found unconscious in her room at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino near Hollywood, Florida. She was later pronounced dead at a local hospital, and the results of an autopsy the following month determined she had died of an accidental prescription drug overdose. The autopsy revealed that Smith had 9 prescription drugs in her system, as well as a non-prescription drug and several supplements. When Anna Nicole Smith died, some suggested that she was so heartbroken over her son's death that she took her own life. But Seminole Police Chief Charlie Tiger soon put that rumor to rest. At a news conference announcing Smith's autopsy result, he said, "We are convinced, based on extensive review of the evidence, that this case is an accidental overdose with no other criminal element present." Still, the sheer number of drugs in her system was hard to ignore. She had ingested a lethal drug cocktail that included a dozen different medications, either before or at the time of her death. Joshua Herbert, the Broward County medical examiner at the time, also confirmed that, in addition to the prescription and non-prescription medications, Smith had 3 antidepressant or anxiolytic drugs in her system. Toxicology reports also found human growth hormone and chloral hydrate, the sleeping drug. The combination of this massive amount of drugs essentially shut down her respiration and circulation systems. Herper said she didn't suffer, she went to sleep. But the most disturbing fact about Smith's death is that her autopsy revealed she had been receiving shots of either a human growth hormone or B12 vitamins, prescription drugs, or some combination of the three. And when a needle punctured an abscess in her buttock, bacteria was allowed into her bloodstream that caused a high fever shortly before her death. Kerber believes if Smith had received treatment for the fever and infection, she probably would have lived. If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-4257. Anna Nicole Smith tragically passed away when her second child, Danny Lynn, was just 5 months old. That left a child growing up under the eye of the media, trying to navigate around her, while also trying to comprehend why the world is fascinated with her. Let's see what this teenager is up to now. Say mommy. Say mommy. When Anna Nicole died from a accidental drug overdose in 2007, just months after her daughter was born, a paternity battle blew up in the press. The Daniel's biological father, Larry Burkhead, was confident he would be named her official guardian, while Howard K. Stern had been Anna Nicole's last partner and was stated as the father on Daniel's birth certificate. Larry told ABC News, "I have the willpower and the determination to know my daughter." I hate to be the one that told you this, but I told you so. A court-ordered DNA test confirmed that Danny Lynn was indeed Larry's daughter. In fact, just a month prior, Larry claimed he was already setting up a nursery. For his part, Howard relinquished his former title but showed Larry the ropes. Larry shared with ABC. The minute after the paternity test was over, he's helping me change Danny Lynn's diaper, showing me, "This is how you feed her." It's been nonstop since then. Anna Nicole hit the pop culture zeitgeist when she modeled for Guess Jeans. Shortly after her Playboy debut in 1992, Smith met with Guess founder Paul Marciano, who recalled Paper magazine. "I was crazy about shooting her. She had such a magnetic personality. She was so hot at the time. She was even considered for the role of Tina Carlisle in Mask, a role which ultimately went to Cameron Diaz. But at the ripe old age of 6, Danny Lynn appeared to be following her mother's footsteps, modeling for a Guess children's campaign. Marciano shared, Danny Lynn has the same playful spirit that her mother had on set. Larry later addressed the criticism regarding Danny Lynn's involvement in the campaign, explaining on Good Morning America. Danny Lynn has always looked up to her mom's least. This is kind of Danny Lynn's way of paying tribute to her mom in our own official way. That might be her only connection with her mom. Larry was adamant that Danny Lynn grow up out of the limelight, something that had been detrimental to Anna Nicole's mental health. After the Guest gig, he rejected any further offers for his daughter. "Stay tuned today. I didn't care. So I claimed no, she's not interested. She's just a regular kid." Larry and Danny Lynn live in Kentucky, where they enjoy a quiet life, far outside of Hollywood. He explained on the show, "I made a conscious decision a long time ago to move to Kentucky. It takes away the chase. It takes away the curiosity. It takes away the Paul stories." Now in her teens, he news reports that Danny Lynn regularly makes the honor roll and even plays a little violin. The Kentucky Derby was a favorite of Anna Nicole's, and Danny Lynn and Larry have made it a point to attend the event every year. In fact, back when he was a photographer, Larry first caught Anna Nicole's eye at a Derby gala. He called to ABC, "She's waving at me and blowing kisses, and I knew she knew how to work the camera." The two hit it off and were on and off again for several years. But these days, Danny Lynn and her dad share their annual tradition of matching derby outfits that began when she was just 3 years old. Larry told E! News in 2015. "Seems like good luck to pick on her later." It appears Danny Lynn might be slipping a toe into acting, with his daughter already having spent a year in a theater class. Larry told the Daily Mail, "I got an email from a teacher, and she said Danny Lynn gave one of the most believable performances of the whole entire school." As for whether or not she will ever pursue acting full time, well, that's up to Danny Lynn. Now that his daughter is about to become an adult, Larry is letting her choose her own path. He said, "If she wants to do something like that when she's older, we'll see when we get there." Larry has raised Danny Lynn as a single father ever since 2007 when Anna Nicole died. And while she probably wasn't shopping for a new mom, just 7 years old, Danny Lynn was playing matchmaker for her dad. Larry told E! News, "Danny Lynn tries to hook me up." In 2014, Larry appeared on Millionaire in hopes of being shot by Chica Zero, courtesy of host Patty Stanger. But he hadn't dated anyone since Anna Nicole, and Stanger wasn't sure if he had totally moved on. In the Burkhead's home, Anna Nicole is everywhere, Larry admitted.
It's been hard trying to find that balance of what's enough for anyone to know her mom, but what's also the limit to where I can move on.
Larry did end up going on a date, but he returned home a single guy. Devoted to keeping Anna Nicole's memory alive for his daughter, Larry and Danny Lynn took a trip to the Bahamas for what had been her 50th birthday. On their trip, the two visited Anna Nicole's grave, the hospital where Danny Lynn was born, and the courthouse where Larry was confirmed to be her father.
This is all you think about is the phone.
In 2021, Larry even took Danny Lynn to Anna Nicole's hometown in Texas, and he had a major reveal in store for his daughter as part of their visit. For years, he'd been keeping Anna Nicole's prized possessions in a storage locker for Danny Lynn. Amongst the heirlooms were family photographs, red carpet gowns, and the wedding dress Anna Nicole wore for her wedding with oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall II in 1994. It's clear that Danny Lynn holds her mother's memory close, keeping her iconic legacy alive while also creating her own. With you, or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP 4357.
So Medicare, AACs.
If you have that little red, white, and blue Medicare,
Yes, and Playboy model Anna Nicole Smith became a pop culture mainstay when she briefly married 89-year-old billionaire businessman J. Howard Marshall. But less than a year after she welcomed her daughter, Danny Lynn, with boyfriend Larry Burkhead, Smith met a tragic end. Here's what Danny Lynn is up to today. Danny Lynn was born in the Bahamas in 2006, but tragically, she was only a few days old when her older brother Daniel died in the same hospital where she was born. According to Cleveland 19 News, methadone, Zoloft, and Lexapro were found in his system. Danny Lynn's father, Larry Burkhead, later testified that Anna Nicole had taken methadone throughout her pregnancy. According to the New York Daily News, Larry stated, she said she was trying to cut down on the amounts, but if she didn't take it, she'd be in and out periodically on the web, and I'll let you see me as I'm going.
Right, female, she's not breathing and she's not responding. So she's actually kind of cold snappy.
One of the saddest parts of Danny Lynn's story is that her mother died of an accidental overdose when Danny Lynn was only 5 months old. Anna Nicole was just 39. The last few days of Smith's life have been described as miserable, with Today reporting in 2007 she endured a stomach flu, a 105-degree fever, pungent sweating, and an infection on her buttocks from repeated injections. It also seems that Anna Nicole was advised to go to the hospital in the days before she died, but she refused to do so. Her death was ultimately determined to be an accidental overdose. The Broward County Medical Examiner suggested that perhaps Smith was unaware of just how lethal the combination of drugs she had in her system really was. A statement to the AP read, if Anna would have gone to the hospital, she wouldn't have died because she wouldn't have had the opportunity to take the excessive amount of chloral hydrate. When Danny Lynn was born, Anna Nicole named her lawyer, Howard K. Stern, as Danny Lynn's father on the birth certificate, but this was immediately contested by 3 other men. Anna Nicole's boyfriend, Larry Burkhead, her bodyguard, Alexander Dent, and then there was Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband, Prince Frederick von Anhalt. The prince claimed he had an affair with Smith for 10 years, according to the Irish Examiner. While Anhalt's claims were never verified, he once said on The Big Story with John Gibson, we were in a relationship. I knew Anna for 5.5 years. We were intimate on and off for 5 years. I was not there 24 hours a day. Ultimately, a paternity test revealed that Larry Burkhead was indeed Danny Lynn's biological father. She then moved to his home when she was 7 months old. According to CNN, Howard K. Stern said he would not fight for custody. Instead, he explained, we're going to do what we can to make sure that the best interests of Danny Lynn are carried out. For his part, Burkhead was more than thrilled to receive the results he always knew were true. He announced outside the courtroom, everybody, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I told you so. Most fans didn't hear much from Larry and Danny Lynn in the first 4 or 5 years of her life, while Anna Nicole was constantly pursued by the media throughout her entire career. It seems that most of the press decided to leave the Burkheads alone, so it was a surprise when he announced a special about the two in 2013, Life After Anna Nicole, the Larry and Danny Lynn story. Viewers were finally allowed to get a peek at Larry and Danny Lynn's under-the-radar life in Louisville, Kentucky. Even though she was a baby when Anna Nicole died, Danny Lynn eventually grew to understand who her mother was. Does she know she's famous?
Well, she knows that there's interest because of who her mom was.
Larry explained to the Daily Mail. She knows that her mother is famous and that things would have turned out different if
She knows that
Anna would be the one painting her fingernails. She would be taking her to buy dresses. And she would be doing all these things that I am happy to do, but obviously it's something she doesn't have. Larry and Danny Lynn resurfaced again a few years later in 2019. This time, Larry shared a photo of the two attending the Kentucky Derby. Notably, he and Anna Nicole first met the day before the Kentucky Derby years earlier. Danny Lynn was even wearing her mom's hat from over a decade before. Larry explained that he is doing his best to let Danny Lynn experience a childhood far from the media forces that shaped her mother. And it sounds like that might be because Danny Lynn has no real interest in getting into the entertainment world. Larry revealed to People, I've had companies call me and ask for Danny Lynn to model, and that answer is no. She doesn't show any interest in it. She wants to be a kid.
You always point out my flaws. That's what I let me so.
Instead, Danny Lynn gets to do what lots of other kids her age are doing. At the time, she was in Girl Scouts and totally glued to her phone. But throughout her life, she has expressed some curiosity around acting, according to In Touch. So maybe we'll see her in Hollywood someday after all. She might not be on anyone's official talent roster, but Danny Lynn did participate in one special photo shoot in honor of her mom. In 2012, she shot a Guest Kids campaign to celebrate her mom's iconic campaigns for the fashion house. Larry shared with Good Morning America, Danny Lynn has always looked up to her mom's image, and I think that this is kind of Danny Lynn's way of paying tribute to her mom in her own special way. Yes, creative director Paul Marciano also noted that Anna Nicole and her daughter definitely shared similar personality traits. He said, Danny Lynn has the same playful spirit that her mother had on a set. Anna Nicole married billionaire J. Howard Marshall in 1994, and the 60-year age gap between the two sent fans into a frenzy. The couple reportedly met at a Houston area strip club where Smith was working at the time. While some didn't buy their love story, Larry Burkhead later told ABC News that he did. He said, that was no doubt. She genuinely has some kind of a deep love for him. Now, I don't know if it was the kind of, physical type of thing, but it was what he did for her and what he did for her son Daniel, and that he changed her life. He saved my life, and I saved his life. He took a terrible place. He cared for me and my son. After Marshall's death in 1995, Anna Nicole petitioned for part of his estate. The case ultimately concluded in 2006 that Smith was entitled to some money, but the court never actually awarded her anything. When she died, Anna Nicole was still attempting to obtain her part of her husband's massive fortune, according to Forbes. Some believed that Danny Lynn could stand to gain almost $50 million of the $1.6 billion that Marshall was said to be worth, but the situation was put to rest when a judge denied her claim in 2013.
And they're talking about Anna was only worth $1 million.
You are your mommy. You look just like her. You're so beautiful.
Oh my God.
Danny Lynn hasn't spoken a lot about what it's been like to grow up without Anna Nicole, but when she does, it's clear that she truly believes she shares a tangible bond with her mom. And in 2017, Larry shared a poem his daughter had written about her mother with 2020. Danny Lynn wrote about friends who knew and loved Anna Nicole, have also felt signs of her presence. She penned, ever since my mother's death, friends of hers said she would send me pretty butterflies. So butterflies chase me everywhere, and I let the butterflies come out of my pencil and fly on my paper with their wings of love. Even though Danny Lynn isn't interested in the limelight herself, her dad Larry has said
How
that
many
she
years
would
has
be
it
down
been
to
since
anything
Anna
a
said?
celebrity or two. Larry
It's
told
been at least
Entertainment
about
Tonight,
almost 7.
we went to a swim party and it was a bunch of
Because I'm
moms, and
17
I
years
felt
old,
out of place.
and she
Sitting there
died a
going,
year
I can
after
do
high
this
school.
while they're all gossiping. Then Danny Lynn comes over, takes my foot, and
So I'm
slides
a
it
year
next to
older
the
than
mother's foot
Anna
next to me.
Nicole
She
Smith's
says,
daughter.
y'all need to
Her
get to
daughter's
know each other.
16, I'm 17 years old. I'll be 18 years old in 11
But
months.
Danny Lynn isn't
April
only
25th,
interested in the local
2000.
single mom for her dad. She also searches the internet for celebrities that Larry could date. So who's topping her list? Ariana Grande, Britney Spears, and Lady Gaga, of course. Though she will never have the opportunity to build a relationship with her mom or her brother Daniel, Danny Lynn still finds ways to celebrate both of them as often as she can. In 2019, Larry explained to the New Zealand Herald, Danny Lynn knows that her mom was famous, and she knows about Anna's late son Daniel. I try to incorporate both of them.
I mean, they know about each other because Anna had her, she was only 5 months old when Anna had the baby, but Anna got to experience having the baby. She just died right when the baby was on 5 months.
Sometimes
5
Daniel
months.
gets forgotten. Larry went on to add one notably
Now
touching
she's
detail.
alive.
He and Daniel have the same birthday. While it's not exactly clear what's next for Danny Lynn, the teen has already weathered an enormous amount of tragedy with a stunning amount of grace. And with her devoted dad by her side, her future is looking very bright.
Danny Lynn is her legacy. That's what lives on for me.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. This is my comeback. Start your with local.edu.
10th anniversary of Anne Coulter. It's been long with that at 17 years. Like I said, I'm 17 years old, and she passed away a year before, the year after I was born. And I'm 17 years old. I'll be 18 in 11 months. Like I said, April 25th, 2000, April 25th, 2024. Selena and me have our son's birthday. So we get to be a friends, the singer, American singer. And her birthday's only 9 days before mine. We're now at 2 hours and 6.
Entertainment. Say, listen, last night I was watching Ashley Danfield. Hi, Ashley. She comes on HLN. It's a good time too. I think you can all have
I now have 248 YouTube videos with 7,209 so far. 7,209 YouTube videos so far.
TV time between 8 and 9 o'clock. Not too late, not too early, just enough news she gives us. Anyway, but she reminded me, Ashley did, for the TV, that today is the 10th anniversary of the passing of Anna Nicholson. Clap if you remember where you were, which we don't lie. Clap if you remember where you were. Yeah. We were on family vacation in Aruba, and I left the study screen in the hotel there, and I went back to get it, and the TV was on, and I was transfixed, like, oh my gosh. In the 10 years, 10 years, she would have loved our show.
It's been longer than that. It's been 17 years. I'm 17 years old. I'll be 8.
She was definitely my people. Anyway, inside additions, just to get me with Larry Burkhead, we all realized at first we thought it was some sort of charlatan and in custody with the daughter Danny Lynn, but Larry Burkhead has turned out to be a real stand-up guy, in my opinion. I mean, it's been 10 years, he said, for winning, and everything he said is always been positive. Danny Lynn was brought up to be a really beloved girl because she did that guest campaign many years ago. That's all. I never saw her model. She's been out of the limelight, looks just like her mother to me. And they look like real people. They sit on the couch like regular people. He could have done a whole lot for the reputation of Anna Nicole Smith. But he didn't. And 2020 is interviewing Larry on Friday night, which I've been on watching. So, yeah. By the way, Larry and Howard Stern. Remember, Howard Stern, not Bubba Boone Stern. I'm talking about this Howard Stern. Remember, Anna Nicole and Howard were married for a moment. And then there was like a whole bunch of scuttlebutt when she passed away. Who was going to handle her money and who was going to get custody of Danny Lynn.
But the thing is about my money and whatever I'm getting, I'm not making any state paychecks right now, but I do get paid versus for the YouTube videos. And I got plenty of a lot. 7,000 to each. Like I said, I have 7,000 and 290%, almost 7,000 retention into
All the way on, and I go back to my time flat to my search because I love to control. So now, Larry is still Howard Stern is still managing the estate of Aaron Smith. Larry and Howard get along, and Howard does have a relationship with Daniel. So the conclusion, of course, to celebrate 10 years of death. Well, into this, the idea that these guys were going to work. They made it work. So 2020, yeah, on Friday, I'll be watching. I'll be watching. Larry, you're on my decks. Can you come over? Right. Come on in. Can you make a phone call? I'm on the phone right now. Oh, prepare for that. I love it. That kind of later. So, you know what I mean? Where were you?
I went on the store at the time.
And when you found out,
That was my office, which was across the street.
okay, well,
Yeah, take one foot out.
this is the same studio, but
Yeah, I one foot out, and we all gathered. And I remember, and we all watched it on TV. And
did you cry?
yes, we also said, "I loved her too."
I've never seen you cry. Did you cry?
Okay, well, I
You cry out.
You got pissy, but
I
nothing
know,
like
there's nothing wrong with that.
you're a cold woman. How do you not cry for sugar pies now? Yes, we are.
I have now and then.
The dog sugar pie. Anyway, so as I told you yesterday, it played breaking news because we're a live show. We found out about it 10:45 a.m. It's East Coast time. And we interrupted the vision of Madonna is adopting these 4-year-old twin girls. And so I promised you that me and the Bureau will go to dig more into the story and find out. Okay, so the girls' names are Esther and Stella. They're 4 years old. Esther was her Kabbalah name. Or is like, she wears like an Esther thing, right? Like that's her lipstick and stuff. I'm like, I love it whole thing. It's just that you have to grow into it. It's like when you name a baby Henry. It's not a Henry until maybe he's 30. Like, or Stella. Anyway, I wonder if that is a coincidence. Like whether Esther's born name was Esther, or whether Madonna came in to a 4-year-old that changed her name. Because how do you pay somebody something different than what they're used to being? Anyway, 6 weeks ago, Madonna posted this photo of Lourdes, and that's her bio daughter, she can tell with the eyebrow. And this is Esther and Scout. I don't know which one is which, but these are the girls. And Lourdes and Madonna were at the orphanage in Malawi, where Madonna owns like the whole. Like she is, she's looking at Collab and listen. She's building. She does that money of hers. She's building things on hospitals. She's helping children. She's getting medicine. So that. And enough to be able to help the girls out, but they will be the orphanage for 2 years. So, that's what I say at 50 years old. For why was 40-year-old? Why was just getting started? What? As I told you, I'm used to the world is undone. There are a lot of things that I used to be uptight about in September, that I'm no longer uptight about. I'm sure you possibly lived your life this anyway. The things you used to be upset about, that, since September, you're like, won't you won't. In my mind, that means live and let live. Won't you won't. talking about the girls. Donna, it's true. I don't see myself having much in common with the Hi, Janet. Good luck, girl. Um, some two biological children. That would be Rocco, who's 16, and Mordes, who's a college girl. She okay. I already like the YouTube live stream we started 2 hours ago. Live Resident AJ, so I'll talk about the and Lucille goes into collab. Oh, I like it. Also, the Foreign Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will travel to China on Thursday for several days of talks with some Chinese officials. Real breakthroughs are expected. A senior Treasury official says Yellen will focus on expanding communication and cooperation with China on a range of global challenges, which requires just weeks after secretaries. Ideas coming July 11th as well, with 2 days of credits exclusively for China. And now this jump on chicken, chicken, and it's just one night so far. Let's make sure 2 hours, 17 minutes. I'm gonna think to most of it more like everybody. Please, just get going.
Okay, so in the YouTube live stream here at 2 hours and 24 minutes. And thank you guys so much for attending. We ended at 11:09 a.m. We'll even it out at 11:10 a.m. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, I will talk to y'all. And once I come back to later on, I gotta let the computer charge for a good while, and then I'll come back and talk to everybody. Love you. I love you guys, all my beloved YouTube fans, and my 7,290 YouTube views. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace and much love, guys, like always. Bye, y'all.